on an icy creek in Grizz country in a leaky kayak? Well, the answer is the kind of parents that would rather have their kids have that kind of an adventure than stand outside the town pump drinking super sippers. Those are the kind of parents who believe that protecting public lands is as fundamental to good parenting as keeping your daughters off the stripper pole. All of the other things that we do for our children to keep them happy and healthy and safe. We teach them how to look both ways when they cross the street. We give them good, sometimes organic food if we can. We try to help them fill out their college applications, and we cheer for them on the basketball court. But none of this matters, and we are not doing all we can to be good parents if we look the other way when there is a threat to our children's birthright to share these public lands with each other. We might as well look the other way if they start smoking meth. It's that important. I'm serious, you guys. It is that important. Now, I see so many of these signs that I saw at the Women's March just over a week ago here in Helena. And they say, keep your hands off our public land. But I also back then saw a bunch of the signs that said, keep your hands off our daughters' public lands, and those were held by men. And that's when it struck me, and stay with me here, that if you and I today lost our right to hunt and fish on public lands, we would be sad, we would be mad, but we would be okay. And that is because we are old and we have had all of these experiences already, and we have become who we are because of public lands, and we have built our character and our skills and our enjoyment and our families on public lands, so we would be good, we would be okay. However, if these lands are taken from our children, we will not be okay. Because they will not be okay. Our children have not yet had the chance to become who they are because of public lands the way that we have. They have not yet had those experiences built up over decades. And this is what we want. This is what we are out here to do. And so I think that sometimes it can be extremely overwhelming to figure out what to do about the heist. And so I have 3 quick suggestions. First, if you have been putting off joining backcountry hunters and anglers, don't put it off any longer. After this rally, I would suggest that you join BHA, and the reason is not just because your membership funds will go toward ensuring the heritage. It's because it's a great resource for where to go and learn what the transfer means and where to find those phone numbers that you need to start to call. Secondly, I think it's a good time for us all to remind each other that we need to be good neighbors, and this means that we respect private landowners. This means that we as public landowners need to also make sure that we are stewards of the land, that we are not crossing over public property to get to where we want to go, that we are doing our research and looking up all those digital apps to make sure you're in the right space and not trespassing, to make sure that our dogs aren't running off making a mess on private property, and to make sure that we're not trying to get in fist fights out there with private landowners. Because it's not yours, that's private. What you can do is fight like hell to keep the national public lands public. And the last suggestion is that we start to look at things that have been done in the past, like Heritage Montana in 1987 started to allow those private landowners to make public some of their lands instead of letting them be developed or sold off, but rather letting the state help them in opening them up to public hunters and anglers. Unfortunately, as you guys know, in 2015, Heritage Montana was defunded by the legislature. So when you go to the Backcountry Hunters and Anglers website and look for all the phone numbers you need to call, one of the things you can suggest is that we reinstate and continue to maintain and fund Heritage Montana. Now, in closing, I'm very sorry to kind of leave out some of the boys because I care about your sons as equally as I care about daughters, but I do want to make a point about daughters. And that is, if little girls are not allowed to be raised with the dirt of public lands under their fingernails, then we run the risk of losing those wild Montana women who make history. Blood, sweat, and tears. These are the women who are brave and bold. And these are the little girls who will grow into those wild Montana women. And we do not want to lose our connection to that. And I will tell you right now that if we can ensure little girls' connection to public lands, we will ensure our lifeblood. Thank you.
Thank you, Hilary. Wow. She's coming back for the next public lands rally, I'll tell you that. Okay, so we have a special guest here on the phone. Senator Tester was sorry that he couldn't be here in person, but we are so lucky that we have somebody in Washington, D.C. who without a doubt has stood up for our public lands every single time. We are so lucky to have Senator Tester fighting for our public lands and, frankly, willing to call from an airport bathroom when he's on his way back to Washington, D.C., which is what he did today, and I don't say that lightly. He will go out of his way every time, and he has. He did when he was a senator here at the Capitol, and he's doing it now in D.C. So thank you so much to Senator Tester. Our next speaker is the president majority owner of Sims Fishing and has been since 1993. K.C. serves on the board of Trout Unlimited and the Teddy Roosevelt Conservation Partnership. He's also served on the Governor's Main Street, Montana Advisory Board. He was the past chair of American Fly Fishing Trade Association. And I've had the honor of speaking now with K.C. a couple of times. His testimony is to the heart and to the core of exactly what we need if we're going to be successful in defending our public lands. Please put your hands together and join me in welcoming K.C. Walsh.
Good afternoon, fellow Montanans and strong supporters of public lands and public access. I am so proud to be here today. I'm here representing Sims and our 160 employees down in Bozeman who support public lands and public access. I see a few Sims hats here today as well. Sims has operated in Bozeman since 1993, and over that time we've grown 50-fold. Just since 2013, we've doubled our employment base in Bozeman. And I always remind people how important Montana and Bozeman are to the success that Sims has had and how this really takes form in attracting great people who enjoy Montana's outdoors and value everything that our state has to offer, which depend on public lands and access. The recreational fishing industry, and I saw someone here with a bait fishers support public lands sign. We support bait fishers. The recreational sport fishing industry represents $900 million, almost $1 billion in annual revenue to the state of Montana. The beautiful headwaters of the Madison, Big Hole, Yellowstone, Bitterroot Rivers all flow from public lands. And today they support about 500,000 angler days per year. Every year outdoor, as Conrad mentioned, every year the outdoor industry represents about $6 billion in economic activity for our state, 64,000 jobs. Appreciate all the signs up there about how important public lands and wilderness are to our economy. And we contribute about $400 million a year in tax revenues to our state. Like all of you, I want to see those taxes going to help improve access to our rivers, conserving habitat, and getting more kids outdoors to enjoy the outside. I don't think anyone needs any more evidence than the crowd here today. We've had lots of surveys, repeated, Colorado College survey recently, documenting the strong support that Montanans give to public lands ownership. Our elected officials should not be spending any more time or taxpayer dollars pursuing the transfer of federal land. We also can't afford it. Yeah. Hopefully, in the next few days, we'll have a Montanan as our Secretary of Interior. Representative Zinke has been clear in his opposition to the transfer of public lands as well as support for the LWCF. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why the Backcountry Hunters and Anglers, the Outdoor Industry Association, the Teddy Roosevelt Conservation Partnership, the American Fly Fishing Trade Association, and the American Sport Fishing Associations all support the nomination of Zinke to head up Interior. Now, the punchline is, if confirmed, we all need to hold him accountable to his public statement. Now, our state does have immediate opportunities to acquire strategic lands. I just want to mention quickly that through the Habitat Montana, our state agencies work with local ranchers and farmers to protect crucial big game habitat and provide open access to public lands that are otherwise inaccessible. Everybody wins, and it costs Montanans almost nothing. It's paid for by the sportsmen. Today, we urge our legislators to lift the restrictions on land acquisition under the Montana's Habitat Montana program. One final call to action, and that's for all of you here. And I, as a Montanan, as owner and president of a company that depends on public lands access, I thank you all for making the effort to be here. This is just outstanding. Please take a minute and sign the petition to stop the transfer of public lands, and make sure that your local legislators know where you stand on this important issue. Now, it is my great honor to introduce our governor, my friend and a staunch advocate for public lands, Steve Bullock. As a fisherman, as a hiker, a hunter, Steve has fought for Montana's constitutional right to access public lands and streams throughout his career, and opposes any and all efforts that would lead to selling off our public lands to the highest bidders. For these reasons, Governor Bullock was the first gubernatorial candidate ever endorsed by the Outdoor Industry Association. So with that, friends of public lands, please help me welcome Steve Bullock.
Thank you for coming out from all corners of our state today. Thanks for what you're doing. And every day to keep our public lands in public hands. I see sportsmen and sportswomen. I see ranchers. I see veterans. I see bait fishers and fly fishers. I see grandparents. I see the next generation. I can see some of my former high school teachers here. And you know what's great? Every one of us own these public lands. Montana. And the beauty is, we don't need permission to go on them, do we? These lands are our heritage. These lands are our birthright. These lands are one of our great equalizers. The size of our checkbook doesn't are, they're also owned by the entirety of our country. What defines us? What defines us often, as Montana describes, the most amazing vacations someone will ever have as they come to our state. We had 11 million visitors last year, and guess what? They still ain't coming for our Walmarts. They come here for our wild places that each and every one of us enjoy. Our outdoor recreation economy is responsible for 64,000 jobs, $6 billion a year in consumer spending each and every year. The economic impact and the value that we as Montanans place on our outdoor economy are nothing to take for granted. We need to enhance those opportunities, not detract from them. Time that the legislature lift the limitations put on Habitat Montana programs so sportsman dollars can continue to create and preserve places to hike, fish, hunt, recreate. And it's time that we recognize that access to our public lands and our outdoor economy should be promoted, not threatened. Send your ideas to keepitpublic at mt.gov. It's time that we send a message to that floor of the building. The proposals to transfer our public lands or study to transfer public lands have no place in this building and no place in Montana. Not only do we need them to hear us up here, we need them to hear us all the way to Washington, D.C. They need to hear that these lands belong to every Montanan and every American. That there's a bill being offered right now in Washington, D.C. to transfer 3 million of our public lands. 100,000 of them would be right here in Montana, and you know that there's going to be more. It is time that we make sure, too, our congressional delegation lives up to their promise of not selling off our public lands. This ain't about politics, whether you're a Democrat, a Republican, a Libertarian, a vegetarian. These lands belong to you. For our heritage, for our economy, for our quality of life, our public lands aren't part of the problem. They're actually part of that solution. Jeopardizing what it means to be a Montanan and transferring those lands is wrong-headed. I'm pleased to stand before you today and say loud and clear, I've said it before and I'll say it again, wholesale transfers of public lands will not happen, not on my watch.